Okay, Bruce, what have you got?
Right. Gotta
No
follow
public
through.
comment, I don't believe.
Yeah, nothing on the public comment.
Okay, upcoming projects.
I don't have anything with me. I think the last time I mentioned to everybody was the midpoint, that they're still with Connecticut DOT traffic, trying to get that approved. So once that gets approved, then they'll start construction. I think they were shooting for fall, but it's gonna be a spring project now. It's gonna be with DOT for a little bit there, so.
Okay. That's good, because we're not gonna have anything else going on in that part of the town for the next 24 months.
No.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So,
Oh, well. We'll make it through it all.
okay.
So
Anybody
nothing else on the upcoming events, projects?
I don't have anything. Anybody else have something?
Well,
You're muted, we can't hear you, Ron. Okay,
so can we put a meeting aside more in the winter to talk about what signage we have up and what we would like to introduce come springtime on the roadways?
so
Signage,
you're referring to your 3 feet to pass.
possibly, yeah.
Okay. So,
Right. I could put that on an agenda sometime after the new year.
Yeah,
why
well,
don't
how
we do
long
that?
does it take for it to come from here? I mean, will that be in time for spring-ish?
Yeah, well, I mean, if, like I said, I won't be here next meeting. I was gonna let everyone know at the end, but I've got to go to my son's graduating college, so I'm gonna be down in Daytona next week or next month. So
Nice.
I'll miss the meeting. If you want to talk about it, then you can go ahead. I mean, Dylan will be there. If not, wait till after the beginning of the year, either January or February. I mean, how many meetings do you think that we need to discuss it?
We can pile it on, Dylan. That's fine. Not a whole meeting. I don't
All
think.
right. Yeah, I mean, if we get it done one, and then the traffic review board meets once a month, I think. So it may take 1 or 2 meetings to get through them. All right.
Okay, thank you.
all right. How about the Farmington Valley Trails Council topics?
Well, we're hoping to see all of you at the annual meeting on Friday. You can find out the information on Bike Walk Farmington on Facebook.
Very
I'll
nice.
save you a seat.
It's 7 p.m. at the Avon Senior Center.
There you go.
Okay.
Bruce will be one of the speakers, as always.
No, I'm gonna be in New York Friday.
No, not you, the
Not
other.
that-
Bruce.
Oh, but say,
Oh.
wait a minute, I thought you were. Yeah, he's a much better speaker than me. So
I don't know about that,
yes,
but
What else is going on?
Yeah.
No, with the,
Yeah, go ahead. Anything else with the Trails Council?
well, I mean, obviously Bruce knows all about the trails. I noticed that the newsletter got released today, so if you look at that, has a whole map drawn out, what's gonna be done, blah, 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 but I'll let Bruce plug in any important new.
well, yeah. I mean, I can go into chapter and verse on Southington and Plainville, if you want me to. But basically, Southington was going to be one project. It's now going to be 2. So it's going to be Southington 3 and 4. Southington 3 is going to be 1.27 miles. Will go to bid this fall for construction next year, basically right up to Yard Metals. Yard Metals has sued the state because they don't want the trail going across their driveways. And that has basically not only shut down Southington, but also shut down Plainville because the Attorney General's office has decided in their infinite wisdom, after 30 years of doing it one way, that in fact, not in fact, it's their opinion, that Connecticut DOT perhaps doesn't have the right under the current legislation to take right-of-ways in Connecticut for bike ped projects. This is literally what the Attorney General's office said about a month ago,
Wow.
and it has ground every single thing in the state to a halt.
Wow.
So one of the things that's occurred out of this is that I had a long meeting with the powers that be at DOT, including Pam Ciccato. Some of you may know her. She is DOT's chief legislative liaison for the state, and we will be quietly putting a piece of legislation in DOT's omnibus legislative ask for this coming year when the legislature sits, and essentially what it will do is give blanket omnibus protection to Connecticut DOT, and by the way, DEEP and some other landowners across the state, to be able to acquire, purchase, use eminent domain, whatever they have to do to get bits and pieces of land to build trails across the state. So that's ongoing. It's a shame, but basically when Yard Meadows filed an injunction this summer, the AG's office, some bright spot at the AG's office, decided that perhaps, even though they've been doing it for 30 years, the state can't pursue a right-of-way acquisition. It's bizarre.
Bruce, what was Yard's complaint? Was just they don't want the trail going across their driveway?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, look, I'll play devil's advocate and speak for Yard Metals. First of all, if the old man and his son still owned it, this would not be an issue.
Right.
But they don't. And what this is in a nutshell is they're concerned about their contingent liability. They've got a lot of large, heavy trucks going in and out. You know, they've got an in and an out. Literally, they're about, I don't know, 150 feet from each other. The two entrances to their main facility, and the trail would go right through. The design, Scott Bushy's and his staff's design, which, by the way, this is a DOT design. This is not a consultant design. Had raised crosswalks. I mean, all sorts of stuff that really should obviate, I think, any of the safety issues. But they were really pretty adamant about it, and it went back and forth really for kind of the last 2 years. Yeah, I don't really have any words of wisdom other than I find it odd because ultimately I think most corporations with even a vaguely outdoorsy staff would love to have the trail right next to them. That's the part of it that puzzles me. I don't get it. But now, Ron, I know, isn't it your sister who works there?
Yeah, and remember I had given you that information that she gave me, and it was total, it was the opposite of what you had told me, basically.
Yeah.
About it, being approved and not being dangerous, and they were told that it was dangerous and the design was poorly thought out and blah, blah, blah.
My understanding is they redesigned it, I think, something like 4 times to accommodate them.
Yeah.
So, it's just, Andres?
I was just wondering if the family doesn't own Yard anymore, who does? Because they used to be such a great neighbor.
Oh,
Chinese
yeah.
company. They're Chinese owned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a consortium, Chinese Canadian CJ, I think.
All right.
Could be.
Something like that.
A lot of aerospace businesses use them and that are pretty, outdoor friendly and push that, maybe their customers need to go talk to them and say, hey, guys, we support the bike trail and you guys don't, you know what, we're going to support businesses that do.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of the long road to hoe. It's kind of like dealing with railroads. To a certain extent, if your corporate culture is far enough away, you really don't give a shit. It's kind of sad, but I think we'll do two things. The first thing is if we get the ability to get an actual court date, we will get at someone's expense, probably our expense, we'll figure it out. A couple of industry experts to talk about the safety of that type of facility design. And then the other thing, of course, like I said, is pursuing, really ironclad, legislation at the state level. I would argue that is a little fraught with peril because it needs to be carefully hidden in their omnibus package. Because if this is a single bill, I think the optics would be ugly for a lot of voting legislators. Basically, if you look at this from the jaded point of view, this is carte blanche for DOT to steal your property. And the optics of voting for that are miserable. So we have to be a little circumspect, about how we're going about this.
Bruce, if their concern is liability, with the trucks going in there, I thought the recreational use statute said that, if it's on your property and you're not charging anybody to do it, you're not liable. Is that different with motor vehicles?
Nope. That's the statute. The issue with the statute as written is that it's by mutual acclamation of that. So if one party says we don't think this is safe, and then they're sued, again, it's something of a gray area. There is enough tort law in the state of Connecticut. The MDC suit comes to mind from 12, 13, 14 years ago. And there's others too. So there's a body of case law that would argue that they do have protection. Yes.
Okay.
So it's a matter of appeasing the corporate overlords and just making them less risk averse to this idea.
Yeah, I think so.
Do they have a environmental and social group or department or something in the company who's, how a lot of companies now are starting to, have that group to try to put a green spin on everything? And
yep. The answer is I don't know.
Yeah.
I could find out.
It's a good question. There's a lot of, there's usually, well, it depends on the type of corporation, banks, for instance, and other, not so much manufacturing, I think, but there's, CJ, you may know this better than I do. Some sort of corporate level, officer level, equity, inclusion, and yada, yada, type of, slot these days in medium to larger corporations.
Yeah, I'm sure they've got somebody over there that's looking at that. Ron, if your sister can find out the name, we could try that direction. And frankly, Andrus, it's not a bad idea. I know you guys are huge. If somebody just called over there and said, hey, I heard you guys are not in favor of, the rails to trails, and maybe you're just putting a bug in their ear that way. And
could pass the word on.
Yeah, couldn't hurt. Anyway. All right.
Yeah,
Keep us updated on that.
because a lot of this, you're exactly right, CJ. It's just like, is other avenues of communication. Because, don't forget, this is state lawyers and corporate lawyers talking to each other right now.
Right.
And we all know what kind of crap goes on there.
So I mean, flip side is if they say no, and then they run the trail up to the edge of the property, move it onto the road, and then back on again. If their truck driver hits somebody on the road, then there's evidence that Yard said, hey, this was safer than others, so Yard is more culpable in that case.
Could be.
Yeah, how long in the stretch are we talking about? Is it just a driveway? Is it, yeah, how many?
It's two driveways. So
Two driveways.
it's probably, Neil, it's 400 feet.
Okay. So it's a good long time.
It's a decent, there's a decent, gap between the two driveways.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just like Cybertruck, we could just build a flyover and over that, and then
Good.
It's
That was
already,
Malloy that liked doing bridges.
yeah, it's already
the wrong
costing a
governor.
fortune. Can you imagine going back to the feds and asking for another $1 million to, I don't
Is there a way to go back to the AG? Because he's got job security for 2 years now, so.
Apparently, Mr. Tong does. I don't know the answer to that either. My understanding from DOT was this was not from his desk. This was from one of his minions.
yeah, but
Yeah.
in charge of them.
So he may not even be aware of it or in favor.
He may not. That whole managerial level is the commissioner level is something of a mystery.
Yeah.
In this state, I'm not quite sure what those guys talk.
I mean, somebody could just ping, tag them on Twitter and say, hey, what's up with this? How come you guys are doing it this way? We love our trails. Why aren't you in favor of it?
A month
There you go,
ago, that
Ron.
was
I'll ask
fraction.
Ron to do it.
I think
Well,
Ron's gonna sleep tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in theory, the only time you really have leverage for that is before an election.
Yeah. I was going to say a month ago it might have worked. But
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Neil. I don't have enormous words of wisdom here, other than I do think, Ron, for instance, if we could come up with a name or two, and maybe even ask for a meeting, just say, we'd love to talk about our side of this and the potential, just for more communication.
didn't we go through something like this with EBM Paps? Because he didn't want it going across his driveway, right? So,
We sure did. In fact, it's worth mentioning that Plainville 2, which is the current end of the Farmington Trail at Northwest Drive, going down, it goes like this, down, and then around Carling Industries. Carling Industries was really only about 8-9 months of negotiation, and they said, absolutely, we'd love to have the trail. And they've written off a piece of right of way of their buffer land, going around their facility. It was a fairly easy sell, but it's you never know. I recall Trump, years ago, CJ, that president, my father knew very well. And he was like, he's a German guy. Oh, we want this trail. This is fantastic. And boom, it was like done in weeks.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Trump conducts interviews on the trail,
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
so they love.
I went to Yard, so they're acquired by Reliance Steel and Aluminum Company, rsac.com. And right on the homepage, there is an ESG tab, environmental, social, and governance.
Nice.
Okay.
We're committed to promoting health, safety, and well-being of our employees and families. Well, wouldn't it be nice if they could just hop on the trail?
You would think so.
Andrew,
Yeah.
Is there a little tag under that says NIMBY?
Yeah,
We promote that, just not on our own property here?
they have their code of conduct. Veteran support, Reliance cares, apparently not too much. But
That is interesting. That is interesting, though.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is.
they care enough to stick it right on their homepage, you know, for basically so the investors say, oh, we can check off the ESG box, you know, it's not just Texas that's supporting us, so.
Sure,
Yeah,
you know,
good.
the phone number, you know, could go to some sweatshop in Beijing too, you know, you don't really,
Possible.
but that's interesting. So, you know, let's, as a practical, something practical that we could do, you know, let's try to work on, you know, another way to talk to them.
Why don't you, Bruce, do you want to send out just an email to the group and we can start a chain on this, and anybody that's got any other information we can share and see how we can reach out. If we get some emails going into them, something like that, we'll find
Yeah,
contact.
let's do that. That's a good idea.
Okay.
If there's anybody on LinkedIn for them. Is there
Anything else from the Trails Council?
I don't think so, Ron.
Okay.
No.
Bruce, you've got your meeting schedule?
It was a discussion. The meeting schedule is we're gonna give you guys next week, I mean, next month.
Month.
But I just wanted to, I know that we had talked about it before, but I just wanted to just confirm with everybody, we're still looking at every once a month. And I think I put in the email, are we still looking at the second Tuesday of every or second Wednesday of every month? So just want to, just for discussion here, let's confirm that, and then we'll put together a schedule for vote on it on the December meeting.
Okay.
Anyone have any questions, any comments? Yay, nay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess you put it out there then.
All right.
We're gonna have the real heated discussion when you're not here next month. Dylan's gonna have to handle that one.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll push Dylan around. Yeah.
We'll send him
Don't
over
forget,
to-
he's got the mute buttons there, so.
We'll send him over to Yard Meadows and
Yeah, exactly.
Ray
Yeah.
or something.
All right.
Okay, what else we got? All that I'm showing on here is approval of minutes. Anything else we've got?
Bruce, do you mind pulling up the spreadsheet and just going tabbing through it real quick?
All right, let's see what I can do.
And did we finally get water fountains?
No, not yet.
Still waiting for quotes, or?
Hold on. Grants. We're looking for the grants is what we're looking for.
Oh, yeah, you know, I do have official word on the Connecticut Recreational Trails Program. That the RFP will go out at the end of this month for applications due date March 1st, 23.
23. Okay.
And that's 9 million, pretty much unrestricted. So, I mean, obviously, when you look at the new application, by the way, does have a few other questions on it, but it's not any more onerous than the old one was. And I believe that's on Commissioner Dyke's desk right now to be signed. So, you know, we should be good to go on that, on those dates.
Great.
AJ, for our budget next year for the town, can we get either a position or an intern or somebody to, you know, push some of the design work or grant stuff? Because it seems like we aren't making too much headway on it. And I don't know if we're, you know, limited by resources at the town level.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough budget this coming year.
Always is.
I'll look at it, but this, with everything going on, and we've got to keep a thin budget anyway with the high school project on the road, but I'll look into it and see if there's anywhere we can go with that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's not really an intern kind of stuff. I understand. That's kind of a really digging into it and starting to look at wetlands, starting to look at floodways and things like that. So it could be a little difficult.
Okay, I figured maybe grab some civil engineers senior and expose them to all of it. Just keep the guide rails on either side as they're bouncing through the project. Okay.
Well, you know, I feel strongly enough about this so that, you know, I will, and I don't know how this works, but, you know, if you'd like my professional help with, you know, part of the application process, I can certainly do that. Be aware, if I do that, I would have to recuse myself of the state vote on it. So it's something of a double-edged sword. If you don't use me, then I can vote on it.
Yeah.
I think we want your vote more than your help, sorry.
You probably do, but I'm just saying, but and there's other folks around that write grants that maybe we could, let's talk about that offline, Bruce. Let's think about how we can make sure we do a good job on that. For late, last couple of weeks in February, get that out.
Okay. Complete Streets was approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission on Monday night,
Yeah,
so that's set. And that just has to go to the council now.
and
They're
that's,
gonna be tough on you.
that's this month coming up.
Do you know when is that going on our meeting? I haven't set this agenda for Tuesday. Is it next week or the end of the month? You know?
Probably have to do the end of the month. I don't know when you guys only act on stuff with something like this. Would you have to act the beginning of the month or the end of the month on something like this? I thought you only do these. I thought the end of the month is for,
Yeah, we'll probably do it at the end of the month.
yeah.
But then again, it would have to be next week because I don't think we have an end of the month this month because of
Yeah, I don't know.
Thanksgiving.
Let's look at my schedule. So yeah, that. State grants, we talked about those pretty much, right? Jug handle design, we talked a little bit about it. Bicycle safety curriculum program, Ron, I think
Can I
last
make
night
a
you said that was
comment
on
the
hold.
Jug handle thing?
Huh?
Can I just comment on the jug handle project?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I know I missed our last month's meeting, but I have attended two Connecticut Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Board meetings. And I at least got this on their agenda. It was on last week's agenda. Or the last meeting's agenda. And I brought it up at the last meeting, trying to get a contact on, because the advice I was given was to have Russ Arnold contact CROG on this request. So I was trying to find out who I should contact at CROG, and I didn't really get a name or anything, but that was the guidance I was given. And then I know, because I only see this stuff once a month, in these meetings once a month. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but there was talk about community connectivity grants.
Yep.
And,
Yep. Yeah, that's a DOT project. Your name at CROG, and CC me on anything you send. You want Caitlin Palmer.
Caitlin,
Yep,
okay,
she's senior design for traffic, which you essentially read, Bike Ped, because she's also the lead for the Greater Hartford Bike Ped gap study that they're starting like any minute. They just
Okay.
signed the paperwork apparently with FHI Studio and VHB to run that.
okay. Well, they also mentioned, well, at least in their minutes was, I was told to reach out to the local traffic authority, and I asked, who would that be? And they said, that's when they said Russ Arnold. Gave me
Yeah,
Russ Arnold's name as the local traffic authority for Farmington. I don't know if that's true.
yes. Him. I don't know if it's him or Kathy Egan or Blonsky. So I'll
Okay,
talk to
so-
them. I know they were very concerned about it, and I think just as the DOT was opening up that fence. But I'll talk to him again. All right.
And the fence is already open for Metacom, so
Yeah, and you know, I just think about my bike ride to work every day. I'm on the East Coast Greenway and it butts up against Route 2,
Mhm.
where everyone's going 70 miles an hour, and it's just a chain link fence between the bike trail and and Route 2 itself.
Yeah, but DOT puts those fence up on a non-access point. And I think that's the problem. And I think that's what we
Yeah.
always said from day one. That was gonna be the problem when you open that up, allowing people to get out onto there, and that was gonna be the biggest concern. But I'll talk to Russ again, see if he had spoken with anybody.
Yeah,
And just one last thing I made note of during the meeting, and this wasn't necessarily about my request, but one of the board members, Mark Moriarty, made a statement. He said there is a lot of grant funding available right now, and but exceeds the capacity of people that do these projects to get these projects done, to get this money and use it. So again, it was just kind of a vague statement, but it struck me as something worth writing down. And then he also said it's quote, short-term money, unquote.
well, it's got a date on it, you know, so a lot of this money, a lot of this federal money, Rich,
Yeah,
is either the remnants of the stimulus money or the actual bulk of the transportation act money that passed this last round, that everyone's still scratching their heads trying to figure out what to do with. But it's like $500 million. And
yeah,
but the issue is, and he's right. And by the way, for those of you who don't know who Mark is, he's you know, basically head engineer for New Britain. And he's the guy behind most of the bike ped stuff in New Britain. And he's right. You know, I mean, the problem for even for a decent sized city like New Britain is bandwidth. You know, how much can you actually get done, you know, with a reasonable amount of time? They're working on all sorts of streetscape stuff, bike lanes, and then of course the enormous project, the Beeline Trail, out to the Canal Heritage Trail in Plainville. And they have a lot going on.
yeah. He did mention in the same conversation something about, with all this money available, about actually being able to hire town governments being able to hire consultants to do some of this work to use this money. I don't know how that would work, but he did mention that.
Yep.
You know, something thinking outside the box, I guess, because you know, the towns like Farmington or who, you know, the town government might be there, but they might not have the resources to go after it.
Yeah, but as he said, you know, the money, we're trying to get the money. We don't have the money yet, you know,
Right.
that's what we're looking to do with that jug handle project, is get the money so we can hire someone to do some preliminary designs and bring it along.
Okay, so I'm just
Songs as reminders.
sorry. All right, so that's about all I got to say on that, other than I've been invited to these meetings and I'm gonna continue to get invited to them, so just sharing that with the group.
Okay.
And,
Thanks,
if there's
Rich.
anything I can do, you know, I haven't reached out to Russ. I don't know if it would be worth it. I did work on a project with him a few years ago with my son's Eagle Scout project, so I
Yeah.
do know him. So,
Like I said, he's next door to my office, so I'll just talk to him again.
Okay.
You know, because I know when we talked about it, that was the biggest thing that we both said, is that the state's not gonna let them open up that fence. So, because I know they're very, very particular about it.
Is that a matter of us getting our act together so we can get a grant and then get a formal study done and let the study say that hole needs to be put in the fence?
Or it's just gonna be wait until we do the jug handle project, you know?
Sure.
So they may just say, look, we're not gonna let you open up that fence. You just, you know, if, you know, we wanna do that jug handle project, you'll go that way and cross at the signal and then just come around.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, that was kind of my thinking, is that project is probably predicated on exactly that, Bruce,
Mhm.
is my guess.
Okay.
But, you know, when you talk to Russ, basically say that, you know,
Yeah. Other things we had was the wayfinding signs. Pricing is coming in, and along with that new, if you've seen, they have that little pocket park being built. We were out there, all the concrete's poured, everything's ready to go. We're just waiting for the kiosk and the wayfinding signs now to get built, and then those will get installed.
They have an estimate on that, yet, Bruce?
Pricing, we'll get that in November, order it.
They were talking, we talked, what did we talk? I'm trying to think, because Rose is working with him on that. And I think she was looking to get the final estimate, and I think we were looking at installation by the end of the year.
Okay.
Is what it was, so.
As soon as we have a date, we'll let everyone know so we can have a big party under the kiosk.
Yeah, they're gonna do Rose has to do something as part of the AARP grant too, so
Yeah.
there's gonna be a little ribbon cutting ceremony.
You can do a reading of the complete streets document.
that's
It'll
right.
be a 4-hour ceremony.
That's right. It'll probably be 35 and raining and,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we could move the ceremony to the bridge if they've still got it covered.
No, that's coming, that's all down now.
Oh, it all is? Okay.
Yeah, they took they took the planking above the top down too. So.
Okay.
Hey, I think that was everything that went over, so I think that's the
Okay.
summary of most of the stuff.
Oh, can I just ask? It's very
No.
nice to have a bike rack in there. Who picked out that design?
Why?
It's in the
Yeah, you
bottom
might wanna
three
mute
of
'em.
worst
What's that?
designs ever
Huh?
invented. It's in the bottom three.
It's in the what?
Bottom three for worst designs ever.
Why is that?
Because of the way it's made, you can only put really one. So it was kind of made to put bikes going in between it, but that's
Yep.
dumb because they fall over. So now when you put them on each side, really you can only fit one bike on each side.
Why
The
can't
ones
you
we
put the
have in
bike in?
Unionville are really nice.
Because
just-
because I looked at it, you can put the bike inside that U. There's
Yeah, have you ever
No,
tried that? We're good.
all right.
I thought we had this discussion like about a year ago about bike racks.
All right, Ron does not like bike rack.
Not
I'll
at
make a
all.
note of that.
But I love
That
the
particular,
thought. I love the thought and everything, all that. I love it.
You sound
We'll
like my wife when I buy a bad gift, you know?
No, we'll,
It's the thought
we'll
that
make it
counts.
work.
no, your wife can change it. It's gonna be hard to exchange the bike rack. Ron's already tried to get it out of the concrete.
Yeah, yeah, keep the receipt.
All right.
One thing I wanted to do, either put on the agenda for next month, but if Bruce is out, I don't know if that's something we could take 5 minutes and talk about here. I wanted to kind of get a list of what have we accomplished in 2022 and what are, and then maybe in the next meeting, talk about what our goals are for 23, so we kind of keep an eye on the prize. So take a couple of minutes. What have we gotten done this year? Now we got complete streets is almost done.
Well, we have the bike rack put in.
Bike rack, thank you. The wayfinding signs, the directional signs, the kiosk, that's all been approved. So,
Porta potties seem to be a regular thing going forward, maybe?
Seems to
Every
be.
year?
That's new this year.
Last year
No,
we did
second year, actually.
Would you, as a practical matter, would you propose presenting that to somebody, to the town council, or just basically having it as, a serving suggestion, as it were, for 2023?
If we put together a list, either someone could come in and read it, or I could present it at the minutes of the BAC meeting to the council, but whichever ways. I mean, if somebody wants to come in and read it, we could do
I
that. as
thought
well.
you'd never ask.
Other than Ron, if someone
I'll
would
be
like to
there.
come in. Ron's gonna have laryngitis that day, so just
Chance
kidding,
for some
Ron.
commentary with it.
Just kidding. Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, we could do that, just, at the front end of a meeting, read that all and recommendations and, set it up that way.
All right.
Okay,
What
Yeah,
day-
I like that idea. I mean, other towns, I have actually, spoken to other towns, Simsbury, Avon. I did Cheshire not that long ago. Just really as an update on, what's going on in bicycle and pedestrian connectivity. And what going forward would be some of the things that this group would want to look at.
Sure. I mean, we've got the link on our town homepage about the group itself.
Mhm.
It's got links to agendas and minutes and stuff like that, but we could use that page for more. And it'd be great to show our accomplishments that, this is a valuable, use of, residents and also, town council and town employees' time.
I will go and take a picture of the bike rack at the seniors. Oh. Get it.
Can you present that to the council, Ron?
I can mention it. I can mention the lack of.
No.
I think they hear me right now.
Okay, yeah, we'll get a list. We'll go through what the accomplishments are. I think that's a good idea. Probably December meeting would be a good time for that. We'll have just finished our next high school referendum at that point. So the December
date for
13th
that,
meeting might be a
or-
good one.
Okay.
December
The
8th.
8th?
for that. Yeah.
And where's that? Down in the, I know where it is.
You know where it is.
Probably 7:00.
7:00.
All right. See you then.
With the sidewalks in the high school, do you know if there's any progress with that? And then now that we're also talking about the bridge, possibly the third bridge,
What
Was
do you
that-
mean the high school sidewalks?
sidewalk from, pretty much from.
Oh, the end to end of town sidewalks.
Yeah,
Yeah, Russ, where are we at with our gaps and what's the latest?
well, that was a Dylan, and that we actually discussed that last month too. There's just that Krog is not gonna be opening that up, is gonna be opening it up soon for funding for 2023. And
Okay.
Dylan's on top of that, and when that comes
Great.
through, we'll put an application together, so.
Fantastic.
And
Yeah, should be
that
coming out
includes
anytime.
talking to the neighbors and,
Mhm.
I mean, it's town property and that's not gonna be an issue,
I couldn't hear you. What was that?
but you gotta stop. So that, the couple of houses there, that's not gonna be an issue.
What do
They're
you mean houses?
on Route 4.
Well, it'll be within the right of way as much as problem. I mean, as much as possible. If we need to get an easement because of utility pole in the way or something, then we'll have to work with those owners individually.
All right,
Oh, Dylan was there. I didn't see you on the list. Why didn't see? I thought.
Hmm?
I had it on my share screen and I only had like 4 people. I said, I said,
You forgot to
Where'd
scroll
everybody
down.
go? Where'd everybody go? And all of a sudden I turned off my share screen and everyone popped back in. So sorry about that, Dylan.
Yep, no problem. Yeah, but the lot zip 2023 solicitation should be coming out anytime now.
Yeah, should be. Yep.
Yep. Keyword should be. Or key phrase.
Okay. Anything else we got?
Other than that, I'm good.
Okay, so next month, we'll talk about the meeting schedule. Are we already just gonna print up the actual dates, or what are we doing next month on that?
Yeah, I'll have, Dylan's gonna work on that for me. I'll shoot that
Okay.
over as part of the agenda. You guys can look at it and then they just vote on it and approve
Yeah.
it.
I have one thing. What would be the process? I think we talked about this, to have a name change to Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee.
Bring it up when you talk at the meeting.
not a bad idea.
Then for next month, we can change it. I think the process is, we want to change it, we change it.
Okay.
And then just everybody votes aye and
I'll bring it up at the council meeting. We'll say we'd like to officially change the name too, and we change it to. But we're not gonna do a logo, Ron.
No,
That would take
Okay.
6 months if you started to do
I've
that.
already got one.
we'd have to get solicitations to bids and all of that stuff, and that process takes a long time.
Okay, I think we're good then.
I just have one other thing.
Yeah.
Real
go ahead,
quick.
Rich.
This is for Jeff. I don't know if you still have all those bikes, but I was at Bicycle last week. I grabbed one of their cards and talked to them about bike donations, and they will gladly take them if you want. And I will, what I'll do is tomorrow, I'll just email everybody this contact info I have. But basically said, just call and call the number, and whoever answers can help you and arrange a date to drop off the bikes, if you still want to do that.
Yeah, that would be great.
All right.
I haven't
will
had a
do.
chance to do it. There's been too many things going on with the Bristol stuff and all.
Yep, understood.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll forward that, and, they have 2 locations, one in Hartford, one in West Hartford, but they say the bikes, they prefer them to be delivered to Hartford because they have more storage capacity there.
I can do that.
All right,
Great.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I think we're set if we have a move to adjourn.
Anybody got a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Second,
Plan, thank you.
all in favor, we're adjourned, 7:48.
Good
Thank you.
night.
All right, have a good night, everyone.
Bye.